Hey y'all, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're a returning viewer. I'm Maisie, and this is Maisie with a Z, and today I'm going to be talking about my September TBR. Before we do that, quick life update. I haven't uploaded any videos the past 2 weeks because I've had some very strange things going on with my life where I was supposed to transfer schools and then had issues with the housing department in regards to my accommodations and such. And so now we're pivoting plans and I'm actually going back to the school I went to last year. So now my school doesn't start for another couple weeks, except I lost a couple of weeks because of that. So yeah, now we're at a different filming location in my house because I dismantled the previous one when I was going to go to school. And yeah, we're back now. And hopefully I will actually have time to pre-film some videos for the moving process this time so that there's no chance of having another skipping 2 weeks incident. So yeah, that's what's going on with me, and let's actually get into the books I'm going to read this month now. I wanted to set like a more attainable TBR for myself this month than I did in August, just because like August I didn't end up getting all of my TBR because of all that stress, what I think I would have otherwise. But also just, like, I'm kind of feeling a little more mood-ready right now, so I'd rather set myself just the books I know I'm very excited to read, and then when I get through them, I can just choose kind of whatever I want. The first book on that list is the same book that's been on the past 2 lists, which is Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare, which I'm going to get through this month. Like, I'm not letting myself put this off another month, because I love the series so much, and I just really need to go ahead and read it. That's what I have to say about that. I love Shadowhunters. I need to actually read this. And then I've got a couple of like cozy fantasy books. So first off is Half a Soul, which is Regency era fairy story, kind of. I don't know. It sounds super whimsical, super fun, and I really don't know that much about the specific plot. I'm sure it's going to be really fun and super cozy, and I'm looking forward to it. Next up is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, which came out a while ago, and it's been on my TBR for a long time, and I don't know why I haven't read it yet, because it's standalone fantasy, and it sounds right up my alley. I mean, I know there's a novella that's come out in the past year, but I believe this is a standalone story in itself. Yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna love this. I've heard nothing but good things about it. And then the last of the cozy fantasy books is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This is basically following Emily Wilde, who's an academic who's writing an encyclopedia of fairy lore. And I believe it's a kind of like small town setting where she's going to investigate this particular type of fairies, and then one of her academic rivals is also there. I mean, it sounds super fun, super interesting. I've seen this everywhere since it came out, and again, I've heard nothing but good things about it, and I'm really looking forward to it. It sounds like exactly the vibe of book I'm kind of feeling right now. And then in a kind of pivot from those books, we have 2 contemporary romances, one of which is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, where I read, what was it called? Oh, Book Lovers. I read Book Lovers in August and loved it. Not as much as I enjoyed Beach Read when I read it, where I'd read that like a year and a half ago. I don't usually like Friends to Lovers as much as Enemies to Lovers or really any other romance trope, but I don't know. Emily Henry hasn't failed me yet, so I'm sure it'll be a vibe. I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. It's just not a trope that I typically love as much as I love other ones. So it'll be interesting. Maybe it'll finally convince me to go over to the Friends to Lovers team. I don't know. We'll see. I also have The Bride Test by Helen Huang, where this is a sequel to The Kiss Quotient, I think. Well, I mean, they're both standalone novels, I believe, but this follows a character who's also in The Kiss Quotient. I don't know. I'm just here for the Own Voices autistic rep. I loved The Kiss Quotient. It meant a lot to me, and definitely excited to read this. I don't know, I'm just excited. Hopefully it doesn't let me down because that would be really disappointing. As I mentioned in my previous TBR, I'm setting a new goal for myself to read at least one classic book on my TBR and at least one nonfiction book on my TBR every month. So for this month, the classic I've chosen is fittingly The Fortnight in September, because I have no choice but to read that in September. Look at these end papers, they're beautiful. This is a Persephone Books edition. It follows one family's annual September holiday, so it takes place over like 2 weeks. And yeah, I had some issues with the first Persephone Books book I read, which was Making Conversation, which was a bit of a train wreck. I read that for my reading the highest or lowest rated books on my TBR according to Goodreads challenge, which I can link up here if you want my thoughts on that. But, you know, I'm still really excited for this. I'm sure it's going to be fine. I'm sure the Making Conversations was a fluke in this publisher's general quality. At least that's how I understand it from other readers. And yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy it. And then the nonfiction book is Everything I Need I Get From You, How Fangirls Created the Internet as We Know It. It's basically exploring how fandom culture, and especially fangirl culture, has shaped the internet throughout its history. And I don't know, I think it's gonna be really interesting seeing as fandom is the primary way I've always interacted with the internet. It's very focused around it through a One Direction lens, I believe, which I've never been that involved with or known that much about, but I'm sure it's going to be really interesting and hopefully have some really interesting thoughts on fandom culture and how that relates to the overall internet. The remaining books on my TBR are all manga volumes that I checked out from the library that I have to read before I go back to school. Where the school I was supposed to transfer to was in the same city that I live in, so this wasn't initially going to be a problem, but now that I'm going back to my first college, I have to read them now. So first up are volumes 1 and 2 of Yona of the Dawn, where I've heard nothing but good things about this manga series, where tons of my favorite booktubers have been reading this recently, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. And then I also have volumes 1 and 2 of One Piece, where I'm a little hesitant about reading both of these because I'd originally gotten these from the library when I was planning on going to school in my city, because my city doesn't really have a ton of manga on Libby. So I was like, well, now that I'm in the city, I can read the physical volumes from the library. But now I'm not going to be here anymore. I'm going to read these because I've been waiting for them to come in as holds for ages. But I'm probably not going to be able to continue with this series that easily. And on a related note, I have volumes 1 and 2 of Dream and Sun, where here's volume 2, I don't know where volume 1 is, which is by the same creator who made Orange, which I read and I've just finished the other day, and I absolutely love it. So I was really hoping I would like it. I started reading the first volume. I'm not enjoying it that much. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it'll grow on me. Those are all the books that I'm planning to read this month. Hopefully I get to all of them. We'll see. I mean, it's not a super extensive list. All of the books except Chain of Thorns are pretty short, so I think it's going to be a very attainable list for me. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to all of these. I don't know. That's about all the updates I have for you. My next few videos are also going to be on this very lovely background. So my August wrap up, whenever that posts. This video should go up on Sunday the 3rd of September, which I'd originally intended this to post on September 1st, but then ended up not happening. So that means my August wrap-up is going to be delayed, likely to the next weekend, but maybe I'll post it midweek, I don't know. And I'm doing a 24-hour reading challenge, which I don't know quite when that's going to go up, and I have a couple other videos I'm planning on posting this month. Hopefully, we'll see. Things are still a bit chaotic with my returning to school schedule and everything, so I'm not totally sure, but I'm kind of playing it by ear. If you like the video, please like, comment, tell me what books are on your September TBR. You can always find me on Instagram at Of Pens and Swords. The link's also on my channel page. I have a blog that I'm not super active on, but you can go check it out if you want. And yeah, that's about all I have to say. So yeah, thank you for sticking around to the end of the video, and I will see you later.